Good morning. Today's March 3rd and it's a Wednesday. Happy hump day to you guys. So let's get started. We're looking at Bitcoin right now. And Monday we were looking for a pop up to this cluster of resistance and then a pullback. So this was a kind of a significant zone area. But yesterday I was posting on the Discords that I was looking for a rejection around 52.7. Somewhere around here. It seems to be pretty significant. However, every day this has been moving higher and higher. So my range here is going to be bigger. So I've been looking for on the daily between this R1 and this order block here. Well, it's not so much an order block, but this whole zone is a resistance zone. If we can get above on a closing basis, let's say a 4-hour be the lowest time frame I'd be looking at, but 12-hour ideally at the very least for myself, excuse me. And if we can get above the R1 on a closing basis, then I can safely say that this top is going to get taken, even if it rejects around near the top here. We're probably going to come back, and as long as this holds, we're going to the R2, which is a pretty good play. You got another $6,000. It's pretty good. All right, let's keep going. So we got, let's look at the daily here. Yeah, daily's looking pretty good. So this is what I want to see. So we had to play up to 21 to 10 simple here, then rejection. Then this created sort of a bear flag. We didn't even get to, not bear flag, I'm sorry, bear trap. Then we didn't even get to the 50 exponential on the daily, but we held the pivot. So that is really good. And we are currently trading above the 10 simple. And see, this is what I've been talking about, where the price shoots up past it right before it crosses and it saves it, and it creates this kind of action here. Well, not so much that one, more like this one. And then it just continues on up. That's a good strength in trend. So it means nothing has changed. Let's look at S&P, the index. Now for the index, this is going to be, this one's going to be interesting. So it's better seen in SPY. So in SPY, we've been looking at this for the past couple of weeks, where we were looking for a bounce around the 50 on the daily, and we got that. Now the price is trading above, actually currently, let me look at the 24-hour, just 1 second. There we go. So currently we're trading above the 10 simple, which is similar to how Bitcoin is right now. So that's good. But as long as we can stay above this zone, let me put a horizontal here. As long as we can stay above the zone, pretty good. If we reject past this, I'm going to put doubles actually. Let's do something like this. I'm just going to put yellow, kind of a warning sign. So as long as we stay above this area, we are pretty good. Otherwise, we have a downtrend in continuation. So keep an eye on that. Again, this week, I'm not so much trading as I am watching. We need some clarity in this thing. Otherwise, this is too much chop, especially for someone who swing trades. But for now, 390 seems to be pretty important, right around here. So if we can get on a daily closing basis above 390, I'd be looking for 392 followed by 394. And if for whatever reason on a single candle closing basis, we can get above 394, 394.12 on SPY, this ETF, then, well, I can safely say that we are probably going to be looking at the R3 and possibly beyond. So this will be a target from our weekly recap from 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago, where I'm looking at this zone up to this zone based on Fibonacci's and some geometric confluences. And so far, it's been holding well. So as long as this holds, we are still on track. So I need to see a weekly close above this. Let's take a look at the weekly though. See, the weekly is kind of an indecision candle, so that I'm not looking for much here just yet. So as I was saying on the weekly recap, that we're probably looking at sideways movement. So we're stuck between a range of 390 and 381. And as long as the 10 simple on the weekly holds, which is around the pivot point, we're not looking down yet. However, on a daily, we are forming a downtrend. We have lower highs, lower lows. So until this gets taken out around 391 or the R1 right above it, then we still have a downtrend. Let's take a look at Tesla. I still need to change the 24 hours. So here's a trick for you guys. If you look at the daily, you're going to have the previous day close and then you're going to have the pre-market. However, this is only if you have your extensions on. If you look at the 24-hour, the current price is going to factor in the pre-market. So we have 695 right now, and that's Tesla's pre-market. All right, so beginning of the week, we're looking for a bounce from the green zone up to 10 simple. I can say we pretty much got that right up to retest the pivot. As long as we're below the pivot, basically this red box, I'd still be looking for continuation to the downside. However, this is why I want to wait for the weekly close. I want to see this week close above the 21 to give us an easy, quote unquote, easy play. Nothing's easy, but a simpler, I guess, way to manage this. So if we can close above the 21 exponential on the weekly basis, I'm going to be looking for a bounce into the 10 exponential in the following 1 to 3 weeks, possibly, if not more, depending on how strong the bounce is. But overall, I'll probably be looking at a cap between 790 to the R1 of 824. That's a pretty big range. So you can probably do a wick up here or something like that. At least get rejected on the first try down to the pivot and then further upside if it wants to continue up. Otherwise, I'm probably looking for a bounce into the 10 simple and then further downside, breaking this green box here. And I still be looking around the 0.5, which is 484 into, is this the overall? Yeah, 484 into 500s, something like that. And maybe a wick down to here. But this, I would like to see hold, this red box. Should probably be a different color. So let me change that. There you go. Okay. So for now, Tesla's doing, it's pretty much keeping on track with our plays here. So it's just trading sideways. It's making a bit of a formation here, possibly. Just keep an eye on that. If this breaks down, first target is probably going to be around the S2. Is that no? That's an S1. So 625 or right above it, 641. So basically a screen box right here, as that would be if this becomes valid. Excuse me, it's early in the morning. If this becomes valid, then I'd be looking for it measure moved around the green box. So keep an eye on this. And let's see what happens. So that if this does happen, we're going to create a bit of a higher low. Now it also depends the way you look at it. It could be on a wick basis or it could be on a closing basis. So let's keep an eye on that. Facebook. Anything new with Facebook? Nope. Still trading sideways here. We're still within the confines of this. So, I probably won't be looking at this until the weekly recap and see if anything's changed. Unless we break out of this formation, I probably won't be looking at this for the rest of the week. I don't see a need to. We only have 3 touches on the top. Well, 2.5, I guess, and 2 touches on the bottom. I'd be looking for another touchdown, another touch up, and then deciding factor. Apple. What is Apple doing? All right, so this needed to hold. It's doing pretty well. I guess some would call that a bit of a V recovery, but we're not there yet. So 525.74 is the current price. We closed at 125.74. Right now it's 125.70, but that's pre-market. Yesterday we closed at 125.12, and we see that we got the bounce, and this is holding so far. However, we are trading below the pivot, so keep that in mind. We want to stay above the pivot. Let me write that. Needs to stay above pivot on daily. Yeah. So I want to see that on a daily closing basis. Again, I really just want to watch this week because I don't want to be caught in this whole chop. Now, back to 24 hours. Okay, so right now we're trading at 84.78. So there's a little bit of a bounce, but nothing significant. So we got rejected at 10 simple, just like we were looking for. Right at this red box to be held, which coincides around the area of the pivot. So it needs to stay above 82 to see more upside. But ideally, you really want to see this trading above the pivot, this white dotted dash line. Below that, probably looking at this 200s. This might need to be updated as the 200 simple and 200 exponential are moving and every day. As you can see, these dots, they're projections. So I am going to make this a different color just to keep consistency of our weekly updates. So what are these now? 73. Yeah, so it needs to stay above 82.39. Should be good for upside on a closing basis. Otherwise, we are probably going down to 76 if we can't hold the 200s. Otherwise, first, take profit zone. That's what TP is the 200. EMA. Okay. Let's make this a different color. And just an update. Okay. All right. Google. What do we got for Google? I'm probably looking for more downside, actually. I'm gonna say no comment here. However, on the weekly, just looking at this, yeah, okay. So on the weekly, we got a cross down. So here, I've been looking for if the 21 holds, watch for 10 simple to break. Oh, so down. That's more down here than up there. Oh, that's actually on the daily. I'm sorry. I'll put this back. So let me update this. Daily. So that way we know. And here, weekly, looking for about 1925. Now, every week at close, obviously this is going higher. But for now, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So this zone right here. Yeah, right there. Okay. That's good. Let's put this back on the 24. So it's a bit of a longer video as I didn't have anything put out yesterday because there wasn't that much to update. All right, this is not good. NVIDIA. All right, 543.50. Okay, so let's write this down. Below 543.45. Bad. First target 530 and 44. I know these are pretty precise. I'm kind of challenging myself to do that. Doesn't mean that it has to hit it, but somewhere around it, it's pretty good. Needs to hold 512.90. I'll say 513. All right. WMT. Still looking for this bounce. Let's see if we can get it this week. If we look at the oscillators, I mean, we were crossing. We did cross. Yeah, we did cross technically. But I can see this trying to test the bear zone. But if we can't get above the slow, I mean, that's pretty weak. Although looking at the strength, oh, this is pretty good. Okay, so the active is spreading from the base pretty well, while the SCR, which is strength, is increasing pretty significantly. So people have been buying this dip here. This telling me that a pivot is coming, so we could get this bounce still. So I need to see 377 EMA hold on daily. Okay. And then we can get that bounce, which would be $3 to $4, potentially the pivot. So let me spread that out actually. Right to the pivot, 135. So potentially $5 bounce. That's pretty good for stocks. This one, I still needed that bounce. It's pretty weak though. Let's see. Do I have any notes here? No. I mean, overall, we're still looking down. We kind of met that target. Almost. Not yet, but almost. Okay. Below 154.75 on daily. Looking for TP of 122 to 124. That's what we're looking at. Now, if you guys want to see why or how I'm getting these targets, check out the weekly recaps, and I'll go more into depth on those, because as it is, today's is going to be pretty long, so I'm trying to speed this up here. All right, this one, Tamimi stock, shouldn't really look at it. Let's look at the weekly. Just a retest. Still not looking at this. As long as we're below pivot. The reason why I'm not is because this has gone up way too fast relative to time. I'm not so much looking at the price, but it's relative to time. If this has gone up over time, that would have been healthy. With its own retracement, setting up price action and building off structure. This is no structure. This is just a pump and dump. AMC, same thing. Should just copy it over actually. Oops. Bear with me 1 second. Make these faster. Yeah, so we're below. See how the pivot is below the 200. So as long as we're below the 200s on a weekly, not good. Daily, I mean, under 200, you still haven't changed much of a trend. This is kind of building a bear flag as long as we're within it. So really just eye out that pivot around $10.17. BlackBerry, not really interested. Alibaba, ooh, came down to our box. And we bounced pre-market. Okay, we gapped up actually. I'll be looking for a test to the 10 simple. Keep it on that. JP Morgan still looking down. SOS, no comment. Ooh, finally made it to the pivot. Okay. I could potentially be wrong, or maybe not actually, because we could be making a rising wedge, which is not exactly bullish. Let's see. Yeah, keep an eye on that. I'm just gonna move this over a little bit. There you go. Let's keep an eye on that. This could have you come down to this zone here. All right, so that's it, guys. That's all I got for you. Yep, pretty much. Netflix. Still trading about to pivot, just going sideways. Doku. Ooh. Bounced off our block. Look at that, guys. Very nice. But we were trading below the pivot, so still looking for another 200 exponential. This was the first target for a bounce over the weekly recap. Check that out. And nothing's really changed. Let's look at Palantir. Yeah, I was looking for a bounce in this one. Looks like we're getting it, but this is pretty weak. Pretty weak. Probably to like 28. Yeah. Okay. So these are still valid targets. Let's see. What are we on? Green? Where are my colors? Yeah, green. Okay. So we don't want green. I'm just highlighting it for better visuals, but display was set earlier in the week, Monday and weekly recap. So check that out if you need to verify. But I'd still be looking for around $28 on this one. And if you can break the pivot, you still got more resistances ahead. So just let's be careful, because if this rejects around the zone, excuse me, this rejects around the zone, we could potentially be making head and shoulders, which in traditional markets, it does play out. And this isn't a pretty young asset, and it's risen quite a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if we'd be trading 50% below its IPO value, just around the S4. Oof, that's a big drop. But that's too far ahead. Just take it one day at a time. But for now, yeah, just keep in mind that if we get stuck below the pivot, we're going to be making a head and shoulder, where this will be the left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then you just make a measure move, and you probably come back down near the IPO, right above it, actually. Somewhere around there. So, yep, just keep an eye on that one. Let me see if there's any confluences with this. Not so much. Maybe this one. Yeah, 382. Yeah, it would be kind of bearish. All right, so just keep an eye on that one. Guys, trade safe. Like I said, I'm just going to be watching. I want to see the weekly close, get a little bit more data so we can get a clear direction into next week for better trades. Stay safe. Don't give your profits back. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.